Hi, welcome to Get to Know segment of the Know on the YouTube channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff for us. We appreciate it. I am here today with a shorter term Breakers player, but one that impressed a lot of people while he was on the field for the snaps that he did get, whether it be special teams or handling the rock. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man, and tell the people a little about yourself.
Yeah, how you guys doing? Shoot, man, my name is Cyrus Habibi-Likkio. Originally from the Bay Area, now living in San Diego. I played 4 years at the University of Oregon. Won a Rose Bowl. Got to mention that. But and then I did 1 season at Boise State. Went over my defensive coordinator from Oregon. Took the job and wanted to try something new, so went over there. Like I said, grew up in the Bay Area. Been playing football since I was 8 years old. Had a brief moment with the 49ers and the Houston Texans, and was just waiting on a call. And the New Orleans Breakers, hit me up and about mid-season, came in and tried to earn a spot and play a role and help the team out as much as I could. Super excited. I was super excited for that call, and I feel super fortunate to be a part of the Breakers. And I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know USFL is relatively volatile, all things considered, but I think there's no way, that the guys on the team this year aren't back next year. After their first season, I was pretty vocal that I thought we needed a new quarterback and a new coach. And then as, an armchair GM, I was kind of shocked that actually happened last year, but real happy with Coach DiFilippo and, Bethel Thompson as well. They're both, not to hate on Slaughter or the previous head coach, but it felt like an upgrade, which was good. So the team this year, I think, is
Yeah,
100% rocking next year. So
for
we're
sure.
gonna hop into a little lightning round here. I think I know some of the answers already, but I still like to ask for California folks here. So just 5 quick questions. First one is NorCal or SoCal?
Oh man, I moved to SoCal, but just in general, I'm always gonna go NorCal. I'm a Bay Area
Right,
guy for
right.
life.
Yeah, I figured so. It's tough to ask, it's always fun. After that, what is your favorite dish from your upbringing? I think we discussed that you were Polynesian. Is there something from that background that you just remember growing up loving?
Yeah, no, for sure. There's a on both sides because my mom's side they're Iranian, so I have a favorite dish from both. So the first one, we call it's called June, which is it's almost like a stew over rice, but it's like chicken mixed with it has like a pomegranate tangy. It's a weird sweet kind of stew, but it's very different. That was something I always grew up on because man, after I eat dinner, I always want like candy or dessert or something. Like
Right,
I got a
right.
sweet tooth. Yeah. So, and then on the other one, we have something called otai, which is on the Tongan side, which is basically it's more of a drink, but with all the pulp in it. So it's like a watermelon juice with coconut milk, thick chunks of pineapple and watermelon. So like after a workout or on the beach, that's some I'll sip on. So those are two of like my main favorite things.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so the next one was the favorite Iranian dish, but you just knocked both of them out. So there we go. You're going to the gym, you're starting pregame, whatever it may be. What's your go-to song right now?
Oh man, my go-to song. Man, probably I've been listening to a lot of Stomp by Kirk Franklin.
Okay, there you go. Well, it's a little different, but I'm here for it. Alrighty. And then the last thing, man, I saw your logo for your channel, so I have to
Yeah.
ask, is the beard coming back to full effect?
I don't think so. That was my 2019 season.
Hmm.
That was my second year. So I did my red shirt. I played my red shirt freshman year, and my 2019 season was kind of like my statement season. Like, I got 1 year under the belt. I'm ready now, and I did pretty dang well that year, and thanks to my teammates around me. But I didn't cut my hair or my beard all season. I was kind of like I'm going like caveman mode, like don't care about the outside noise. Like I'm just in the gym on the practice field grinding. So that's why my beard was way bigger, but now no, I don't think so.
No, I feel that. Yeah. Believe it or not, I shaved mine off completely like probably a month ago, and I lasted like 3 days, and I was like, I can't shave every day, man. It's too much of a hassle.
Yeah,
So I
man.
get it. I
You got a
imagine.
connecting one though, man. I'm trying to get on the connecting hype. I
Yeah,
gotta.
yeah. So I got these spots over here that I don't know, man. They're kind of rough sometimes, but it'll come back, full effect. We'll get it there. But all right, so I told you I wanted to at least ask about the fan experience at Oregon. I know you've probably got the question many a time, so I'm going to ask it, and I hope what feels a little bit different of a way. Would have you hit him harder if he wasn't an Oregon fan?
Oh man, I haven't gotten that one. Um, honestly, now that I look back at it, I don't even remember if he was or wasn't. I had a no, I had an idea. I think no, unless he was wearing like bright like cow, he was like cowed out like cow bears.
Right.
Yeah, I would like you can see on the video like I'm running, but I like let up,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
because if I left my feet, bro, I think he would have broke something or I have pads
Yeah.
on,
Right.
and I was
Exactly.
even heavier. I was even heavier then than I am now. Like I was just a bigger dude. So yeah, I probably would have if he had like like kind of excessive amount of the other teams because I was
Right.
pissed off. We were I believe we were down or it was a close game, which we weren't playing. We were kind of playing. We weren't playing at our high level of football, so it's like I was getting pissed off because we were like the momentum was kind of just shifting away. He made a couple laps. I was like, it was funny the first time, and then I thought it'd be funny to do it. So yeah,
Yeah, I think I remember that you ended up scoring the winning touchdown shortly after that. So
yeah.
it all
So it
worked
was
out in
I
the end. You played defense and offense that drive. So
exactly.
yes, indeed.
Oh man.
Alrighty. Another college question here. So whenever you went, was it kind of difficult to adjust to that blue field? Because I mean, I know you were redshirted, and then you played 3 years on a normal football field,
Yeah.
and then you had that bright blue. I've always wondered, like, does it like throw you off at first? Like, how does it
Yeah.
mess with you?
Now I remember. So we the first time I went out there, we had like a because I showed up just only for some workouts, and we had like player led practices, right? And we are just running routes and all that. And I remember I wasn't really paying attention to the field. I kind of purposely wasn't because I was just like, hey, we're just playing ball. But then I think I had like a 12 to come back to 10-yard curl or something like that. And I was running, and you kind of just know where the yardage is, like out the corner of your eye. You have a feel for the field. And I couldn't get a feel for it. So like I had to like look down. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Like, where's the where's 10 yards from, from this spot that I'm starting at. But no, it definitely tripped me out. It's definitely a trippy thing. And the fact that we wear the same color uniforms, all blue, I can't imagine being an away team and especially like, like a quarterback or something trying to read a defense and all these guys are just blending in to the turf.
Yeah, it
So
always makes me
no,
think the
that
guys who like lay down in the end zone during
yeah,
like
no, that's what I was gonna say.
you could do it in the whole field. So
Oh man, it would be it would just be it'd be nuts if we did that. Another funny thing too is I've heard that's not actually funny, it's kind of messed up, but a lot of birds will like dive down into the field and they'll have like a bunch of birds they have to clean up because they think it's water.
wow,
It's kind
that's
of
interesting.
sad, but it's just trippy. It's like
Yeah,
it's wild. But that's just comes to show how like trippy it is as a
right.
field. It's like it messes with you. I can't yeah, like I said, I can't imagine first time just coming to play football. You're coming to Boise, packed crowd, all blue field, all blue team. Like
Yeah,
it's nuts.
definitely. Um, so you came into the Breaker locker room on a losing streak, and one that people were really starting to wonder if they were going to turn it around from a fan standpoint. Was there were people still engaged in that locker room, or did it take that win to really get people to think, no, we are the Breakers? We are. I mean, arguably the best, if not the second best team in the USFL right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. They like you said, I got in right, right the week up to New Jersey. Big win on the road, right? They have a super talented defense, a man offense. So everything was great, everything was going well, and I think yeah, just that losing streak. I mean, I we definitely still knew what we were capable of, and we knew that no matter what, like we still control it, which was nice to know. Hey, we still control our own destiny. If we win out, we could still go all the way. I don't think that everybody. It wasn't that everybody wasn't engaged. Really, it was just I don't really know how to explain it. I feel like it just we weren't ourselves. It wasn't the same level that when I came in, if that makes sense. And it's not that people were just kind of slacking off or didn't feel like they were super engaged, but something was just off. I don't know if it was that loss. I don't know if it was we couldn't find our identity of who we really are. Like it was just kind of a trippy thing. And what was crazy is we would go into these games. Um, I'm thinking too, like, man, like we're fully prepared. We had a great week of practice. We're executing. We're about to roll this team, like, or we're gonna win. Or you just have that confidence, going into the game, and it would just things would happen during the game. The receivers would be off tempo, or defense would, let something go, or we'd fumble the ball as running backs. Like just something would go down, and I think that's kind of part of that's not our identity, and I think we kind of lost that for that 3 game losing streak. And then that Michigan, I would say though that Michigan game, like we kind of knew, like all right, 3 games, like it's time to,
You're
we're
right.
gonna win no matter what. Like you're gonna have to you're gonna have to shovel us off this field or drag us off this field without a win. So so yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah, it definitely felt like towards the end of that streak where it was like, man, that controlling your own destiny is getting slimmer and slimmer, and
Exactly, which it really did. Yeah.
yeah, it was amazing too that it went from, or the Breakers slipping to, hey, the Stallions could lose and the Breakers could be the first in the USFL
Yeah.
after. So that was really cool to see that you guys turned it around. And obviously the Stallions, won their last game, so it pushed you guys to second. But still, I mean, second in the whole league record and everything like that is phenomenal. So, who's
Yeah,
the?
oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, we kind of knew too. I mean, we were stationed in Birmingham.
Mhm.
We kind of like, I think we all kind of knew on both teams, like no matter what, whoever loses, whoever, whatever the records are throughout, like it's somehow we're gonna end up playing each other in that South Division playoffs. Like we'll see you again, right?
Right.
Type thing. So, no, you're definitely right. It was trippy how we lost, but still could be first. But either way, we were going to see those guys again.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the I had mentioned in an article I wrote, I mentioned that it was kind of unfortunate that even if you guys do win first place, your home game's still in Birmingham.
Oh man, it's
So
yeah,
it's
no,
it's a little tough in the USFL, but I can't wait for you guys to get out here to New Orleans and see the crowds that we'll
seriously.
give you. So
I can't wait either. I'm excited.
all right. So who's the funniest guy in the Breakers locker room besides yourself?
Oh my gosh, Marquise Lucas.
Okay.
The guys from Florida are just different. If you haven't noticed by
Is
now, they're just funny, man. Just so loose. Just kind of Marquise is a guy that will. He's just a guy that will, no matter who it is. It could be the president. It could be, one of us, one of his boys. He's always going to say what everyone's thinking. You know, like it's not supposed to be the right time, but it just is. But he says it in a funny way. And
right.
man, yeah, man, I've had some funny teammates, but like I said, I got there mid-season, and I've probably laughed more than any season. He's just a funny dude.
Yeah, it's I hated hearing it during the season, but I kept hearing about I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. The quarterback for the Stallions. He's got that Florida swag. It's kind of
Oh, McGoo.
Unmatched. Yeah. It's unmatched, man.
Yeah.
It's always the most interesting people in the world, and you'll meet a 90-year-old retiree, and then somebody like Magoo, and then somebody like Lewis, all in the same day. When you're in Florida, so it's an interesting place
If
to be.
if you just search up Florida man on
Right?
Google and you see what's coming up next, you'll see some of the wildest things. Like Florida man, just crazy. Just do
Yeah.
it, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
The trend that I saw recently was the search Florida man in your birthday and see like what Florida man you are. Yeah, that was a good one. So there we go. Trying to
Yeah,
get this.
man. Now Florida people, like I said, they're different. I played with a bunch at Oregon, and I love them. I love their energy. Um, Hell of football players. They're all just natural ballers. So
Yeah,
props to that state and what they produce.
absolutely. Yeah. All right. So my understanding is you were originally offered Boise. You didn't take it, and then you wound up back at Boise. Was that kind of like where, do you feel that would have, in retrospect, would have you chose Boise first, or you still like enjoy the path that your college career took there?
Yeah, it was trippy just to because I went in high school and came back about like 4 years later, and how much the town has just changed. The facilities, just how advanced everything has been. It's a super fast growing city. I think it's like top 4, 5, something like that. But for me, I enjoyed the path I took. I'm a deep down, like my heart is rooted. I'm a duck for life. I spent 4 hard years there.
Hmm.
My brothers are there. Um, and the main reason I went to Boise is because, like I said, our defense coordinator, Andy Avalos, took the head coaching job at Boise, and he took a lot of the guys, like the director of ops, couple strength and conditioning guys, so recruiting people. So they all shifted over to Boise, and without Oregon, I don't think I would have been ended up back at Boise. I would have just stayed at Oregon, but the path I took, I love it because I got to experience two pretty, I would say, big time, college football teams, rich tradition. Um, so yeah, no, I like I said, that route I took, um, I'm happy I got to do it. But yeah, man, Oregon, I just, that's just where I came out of high school. I decided to even finish school back at Oregon. Um, just because I want to finish where I started.
Yeah, that kind of knocks out the next question I was going to ask. What do you more associate the alumni with? So it sounds like Oregon is going to be the answer for that one for sure.
Yeah, I just for me, like I said, 4 years there. I got to Boise July or August, and I left in December. So super short time. And I believe if it was the other way around, I spent 4 years there, I would have, I think it's just where I'm rooted. I would have been more Boise. Not that I'm not like, I don't affiliate with them at all, which I love what the school did for me, what they offered, and how they took care of me. But yeah, just when you spend a lot of time somewhere, the relationships you make, 4 years is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know down here in Louisiana, we like to claim Joe Burrow, but he's an Ohio kid, and, he won at
Yeah.
LSU. And I think that's sometimes the easier defining factor. Like, hey, where did I make memories at? And it definitely sounds like
Yeah.
Oregon was that for you. Um, so I noticed, you earned snaps relatively quickly. It felt like you came in originally, looking at like the third back option. But towards the end of the season there, you seem to be, not to slight Wes at all, when he was either struggling with, maybe just his knee or something like that, or the fumbles, it seemed like they were coming to you sooner than later. How did that feel? And how do you think you earned that trust so quickly?
Yeah, no, it felt great. Didn't feel great that, my guy was banged up, Wes, and
Right.
things were going on. Um, but just from someone who, just a few weeks before that, it's just such an uncertain time, waiting for a call, working out every day, just waiting on something, don't know if I'm gonna be able to even play this season. It's just times of uncertainty. So from that standpoint, it felt amazing. it felt great. I think a big thing I did is like when I came in the first week, I jumped in a scout team right away, and I played slot instead of running back. Got a few carries, but obviously it's a pretty heavy passing league, I would say. Just football in general is now. It's kind of it's a passing game. So I wanted to be able to show my versatility that I can run routes, out the backfield, in the slot position, out wide, and obviously we're going against the starting defense. So I was able to, make a couple plays during our scout team, and I think that kind of earned the trust that Coach Flip that hey, we can do a lot with this guy. He can catch the ball, no problem running routes. He understands coverages, route concepts, all that type of stuff. So for me, I feel like that was kind of a big thing. Obviously, special teams as well, but that was huge for me just to come in and run routes and kind of be able to show that hey, I can kind of do it all.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know it always feels like most of my years watching football was Drew Brees and the Saints, and that's really what like drew me in. Just growing up in New Orleans area, you're a Saints fan no matter what.
Yeah,
Watching Drew, and Pierre Thomas and Deuce McAllister and Reggie Bush, like they were screen experts, and it felt like if there was one thing that you could add to the Breakers offense instantly was your screen game, because I watched the highlights from Oregon and the games in Boise, and man, the way you operate the screen, like sometimes I think you trick your own team out if you're still going to catch the ball or not. Like
yeah,
you're an excellent screen back, and that was one thing that I thought for sure. I was like, man, I don't see a lot of screens in the USFL, but if they want to add that to the game, this would be the guy to do it with. So
yeah,
that was really
for
fun
sure.
to, and I was hopeful that it was going to happen eventually, because I knew, that the way that offensive line moves, man, I just feels like the
Yeah,
screen game is less utilized in the USFL, but we'll see how that
for
goes.
sure. It should be used a lot more, and we had it. I just think the way the game goes, how it
Right.
goes. It's just things happen, certain situations, all that. Not to mention, um, we were kind of shooting ourselves in the foot a lot, and just things happen. But we had it, and man, I was itching. I'm like, let's run it, because
Right.
especially with the O line we had. I mean, not had. I shouldn't say pass. Hopefully, have again. Um, man, those guys can move. Especially, I mean, even that play I scored on that toss. I mean, if you see the blocks that were thrown for me, and how I mean, we had centers pulling on sweep plays, so that kind of tells you a lot.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely. It's like I said, it reminds me a lot of the offensive line play is the Saints over the last decade. It feels like
yeah,
one of the memories that I have is Alvin Kamara, and he's running, and like out of nowhere you see Eric McCoy just catch up to him, and it's like, man, that's a guard. What is he doing out there? But man,
yeah,
he's
that
20
shouldn't
yards
be
down the
humanly
field. Yeah,
possible.
but
Yeah.
if you had to return the kick or block for the kick, because I know your highlight tape, you like to lay the wood on some punt and block or kick returns. Would you prefer to be a returner, or would you prefer to be a blocker on kick and punt returns?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I think everybody would love to be the returner, right? Um, Man, but for me, I just like you mentioned the highlight. Like there's just something about front line. Just you have to fall in love with it, because I hated it when I first did it, and I got thrown into fire right away, right when I got to Oregon. Right, they put me on that, and I've learned to fall in love with it. And you kind of got to be the aggressor. So there's kind of no better feeling. Of course, scoring a kick return is great, but if you just drop back and you headbutt somebody and lay them out, or just because they get the full speed, it's physics. They're running, and
Right.
usually the guys blocking are heavier than me. It's like a linebacker or something like that. If you stop them in their tracks and you just see someone jump out the gate and score, I think that's the best feeling. So for me, I enjoy front line, so I'm gonna stick to that. It's I would say it's one of the harder things in football. And it's funny, like if you see some of the guys, like they, we're in a special teams meeting and they bring up the depth chart, and you see like, the first string for the front line, some of the reactions on the guys are like, oh man, like I don't want to do this, but I feel them. That's how I was. But man, you just gotta, like I said, you just gotta. It's almost like fake it till you make it type.
Right. I like that. Yeah. It definitely feels like I almost
So I
never
would take that.
I almost never remember the guy's number who got laid out, but I don't even remember which game it was, but it was kick return, and you were running down the field and you made the tackle, but you hit number 45 so hard that I saw the back of his jersey, and that's why I remember what number he was wearing. I don't remember which
Oh,
game it
I
was,
think it
but
was maybe Stanford. It might have been
maybe
Stanford.
I was just like, man, I've never seen the jersey number of the guy because most of the time they get ran over, they don't get flipped
Yeah.
around. Man, you spun him. So um
Oh
so
man.
I understand you tried out for the 49ers. Is that your team growing up?
Actually, man, what's funny is, growing up, Raiders and Niners, it's kind of like you got to just choose, right? So my family, we're kind of split in half. I always just wanted to be different, so I just ended up going with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh wow, okay.
It's so
Yeah,
random.
that's definitely
I
out
was
there.
about
So
like 10 years old, maybe. I like the colors on Madden. Um, Probably not the best team to pick. It was just a couple painful 10 years for me.
yeah,
Besides even the Super Bowl. Um, Painful, even though we went on that good run. But yeah, man, that was my team growing up. Yeah, but speaking back on, my time with them, it was either them or the Eagles. Looking back, Eagles didn't, I think, really have any running backs. And the 49ers were completely full, but I wanted to be home. I thought, playing for the home team would be amazing. When rolled the dice on that. But they were completely full. So,
yeah,
and then they signed McCaffrey late, and it's just like it is what it is. But I truly believe, after a full season, hopefully in the USFL and a full camp, I'll be able to, go back wherever it is. But yeah, man, that was that. And so yeah, it is the home team. That's why I wanted to. All my family, they're Niner fans, so I wanted to go back.
yeah. It would have been slightly nice too that you're back, but it's also you're not exactly stuck where you don't want to be. I know the NFL
Yeah,
players will never admit like I don't want to play at certain places, but it sounds like whether East Coast or West Coast, you'd be pretty happy. So
yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm like especially in the Bay Area, it's a huge melting pot. So I get along with everybody, and then like I never like football just takes you. I didn't, but never thought I'd be in Alabama, right?
right,
Football took me there,
yeah,
and I loved it, man. I made new friends, and soul food was amazing. But man, I've always actually wanted to go to New Orleans, so um, you know, hopefully, man, I would love to,
absolutely.
be out there, and if I love it enough, I'll even try to get some real estate out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a being from there, the New Orleans area, man, it's a phenomenal place. I asked we had Jure on last week, Elder. And one of the questions I asked, like what's your favorite food? And my answer is red beans, just because man, I just think the food and I was in California for a couple years, SoCal area, and but man, the food's unmatched in Louisiana. And
Oh,
I
I
thought
bet.
I thought it might change my mind traveling more, but I still think Louisiana's got it unlocked. It's probably a little homerism, but I'm all right with that. It's the greatest food in the world, in my opinion. But so
No,
if
I
you,
can't wait to try.
oh
Try
yeah,
it.
yeah, man, if you need some suggestions, just hit us up and we'll make sure to send them your way.
For
Uh,
sure.
which NFL team do you think you could make an impact for? I know we're around the corner for the season. If you got that
Yeah.
phone call, like what team do you think would be the best situation for you and the team?
Yeah, man. Oh man, I never got that question. As bad as I want to play in the NFL, that's never really thought of it. It was just kind of more, I'll go wherever I go, right? Um, I'm very big on, and I've kind of been that guy, kind of my whole life. I've always kind of had to. The ball's never really been in my court. If that makes sense. Always had to kind of go get it. Next man up mentality. Um, Obviously, would love to go play in a place with no income tax. That'd be amazing. But man, even the team, like even like I don't really have a certain team, but I'm just thinking because we were talking about even the Niners, like you have McCaffrey, he's a great player, gets a lot of spin, and I'm just huge on I love to support, like even like Wes, right? In any way I can. I've just always had a next man up mentality. So shoot, I like the way the Niners use McCaffrey because I feel like I can run routes as well. And Coach Shanahan, I love the way he uses running backs because I feel like the running back position it's kind of a funky position right now in the way that this game is kind of gone, and you kind of need to be a versatile back, and he loves to use his backs that way. So I would say for me, why not? Or I could beef up and play fullback for them as well, because they the way they use juice check is I'd love to be used that way as well. So yeah, I would say the Niners
Yeah.
minus the taxes.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely makes sense. All right. So if you could be the biggest sports vlogger on YouTube, or you get signed to a minimum deal in the NFL and like a prove it 1 year deal, what would you choose today?
I would say the NFL. It's my first love and playing since 8 years old. I'm taking blogging and doing all that full time now. I want to be a content creator. Um, I've mentioned on social media too before. Instead of working in the off season, this is what I want to chase. I would love to be a destroying type guy. Those guys that are football influencers. I think it's awesome because you get to inspire kids, and it's just another way to give back and show love about football. But I feel like that'll kind of always be there. YouTube's always going to be there. I won't always be able to play football. Um, you know, don't think I could play when I'm 40 years old.
Right. Yeah.
Running back is,
Still make YouTube videos. Yeah. That makes
yeah,
sense.
I could go, go host a one-on-one event or something at 40. Might be
Right.
a little weird, but what I'm
No,
saying? But
absolutely.
yeah, so no, I for sure, in a heartbeat, man. And that's the goal. That's on the drawing board. So, that's the number one goal. But for now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing and working out, and why not, have a camera and kind of show everybody the process of it, anyways.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. So what do you wish people knew about your content that you make, like something behind the scenes or something that you put into it that isn't seen or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know. That's another good question. Other than, I mean, just it's just something I'm really passionate about. I think it's something it's right there with how passionate I am about football. Um, I love doing it. It's something that, like I said, I'm chasing full time. It's something I'd kind of want people to know. I feel like a lot of people, obviously, I do a lot of football content, but I kind of want to shift more into lifestyle, like kind of what I do on the daily. So that's something I would say for people to watch out for and just not look at me as a guy with a helmet.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so even though a lot of my content is that, but I'm
Right.
I'm kind of trying to incorporate a little bit more, just lifestyle things, and I'm kind of into like a lot of people are doing like especially as men, right? We're kind of just like I feel like women are more with like the face wash, the hygienes, all that stuff. I think that stuff would be cool. Like I like men should have, I think it's cool to teach men hygiene because I feel like just, growing up, men are we're just kind of taught like, just a cliche thing like,
Right.
hard work, go chop some wood, like, go wash your face with a bar of soap or something like that, which I'm not gonna lie, I've done my whole life, but now I'm kind of, my wife and my mom, they're in the aesthetics and they do all the Botox and all that. So I'm kind of learning. I don't do Botox, but I'm learning like face washes and all that. So maybe like, men's hygiene or health is something I want to incorporate in as well.
Yeah. It'll definitely be neat. Yeah, it definitely feels like maybe not an untapped market, but if you're looking for like a manly creator, who better than a football player to tell you that
Exactly.
hygiene. So yeah, absolutely makes sense.
And we're sweating with pads and our health.
Right.
Like I think, and I'm not gonna lie, like during season, I get the most acne because it's right. It's
Right.
obviously easy to tell. Like you're wearing the same pads, the same helmet. You can't always clean your helmet, so I didn't even think of that till now, so I appreciate that. You just a light bulb just went off in my
Yeah,
head.
there you go, man. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got about 2 minutes left, so I'm gonna get the final question and then just kind of get the little outro rolling. So, what's the funniest thing you recorded on accident that you can talk about, but you could never post because of whatever it may have been?
Um, man, I did a video of fishing. I went fishing for I never really been fishing and never fished before. And the first line I casted, and I was just testing it. We weren't even really like, I think the camera was just on, and he was kind of more just my camera guy was just adjusting settings. And I ended up catching like this, what's it called, a grouper or something like that. But he was huge, like giant, right? And I went to Walmart and got like a cheap little a fishing rod, and it snapped my rod. Like, but like it was just like my first time casting ever, and it was like, and I pulled it out, and it was giant, and it was just crazy. Like it was just totally on accident. Like I usually you wait like hours for a fish, so
Right,
it was
absolutely.
just, to me it was just a funny dope moment because it's like, man, my first time ever, is a huge fish. And meanwhile, like it's funny on the video, I didn't post it because it's just like you can just see like the lighting change. He's just like adjusting, we're just like messing around. And I just ended up catching. If I had a bigger rod, I mean, obviously would have felt like I could have reeled him in, but it was giant. Like snapped my freaking rod. So
That's
that
awesome.
that tells a lot about it,
Right,
you know.
yeah.
So um man, I've kind of like to learn to love fishing. So is there good fishing out in New Orleans?
Oh man, yeah, it's like we call Louisiana Sportsman's Paradise. So
Yeah. So
whatever you want,
shoot.
hunting, fishing, man, it's there for you. So all
Heck
right.
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, hey, we hope to see you in New Orleans, not only in person, but also, in uniform. I think your game's great. We'll kind of roll the
Appreciate it.
outro here. So if you want to plug anything, we got a couple of seconds, I think about 30 seconds here. So go for it.
Oh man, I just appreciate you guys having me on. Make sure you subscribe to the Know, like, and comment. And if you want to, Sci-Fi TV as well on
Awesome.
YouTube.
Love it, man. All right. Well, hey,
For
we
sure.
appreciate you
Appreciate it.
stopping by and we'll talk soon.